Well, Happy New Year, and who would think on the 3rd of January you'd get a day like this? Blue skies, hardly any wind. It was a day when you had to go flying, especially with all the wet weather and bad weather we'd had. So here I am getting ready to get in. That shoulder strap there first, putting my arm through because it's a right struggle if you don't do that first. And in, an engine running, canopy closed. Strap in. So we were going to go flying. I was going to say we, it was myself and Joe in his weight shift. We'd arranged to meet up in the air. So we were both getting ready about the same time. And Joe was also going to take along Gary in the back seat. So had to warm up, but I was already warmed up with having taxied up. So I was off a little bit before him, with the intention of loitering around in the area. So you can see grass is pretty soft and wet. You can see from the tracks my tyres are leaving, so just keep rolling as I go around. 2 stages of flat down to get me out of the wet grass as quickly as possible. Off we come. As soon as the speed builds up, so get rid of the flaps so you don't go through the flat limiting speed, and away we climb. So I just went to the coast to loiter. Now Joe happened to be a whole lot longer because we had a visitor coming in, and he waited on the ground until the visitor had landed, so he didn't spook. With having one way in, one way out on runway 3618, it's always best to be cautious, especially with a visitor. So that down there, that rocky scare point, looks very placid today on a beautiful day like this, but in 1947, 23rd of April in fact, there was a terrible shipping disaster. The Sam Tampa broke its anchor cable and drifted onto the rocks and put a mayday out, but within 6 minutes they reported that they were breaking up in the storm, and all 39 on board were lost. And the lifeboat from the Mumbles attended in the storm, very stormy night, and all 8 on board the Mumbles lifeboat were lost. So a terrible disaster. You can't imagine it looking so calm today. So there I was, I'd been loitering up and down. There's the track I'd left, waiting for Joe to arrive, and there he is. So it was just a case of slowly catching him up as he went along. So we can see him there. Slowly catching up. It's terribly easy to come whizzing up and then fly right past. Just keeping it steady and creeping in. As I say, we're on the chat frequency, so we weren't disturbing anybody, and we told each other where we were, so there was no nasty surprises. And this is the perspective from Joe's aircraft. There's a couple of lads on the... they're trying to do a runner. But they can run, but they can't hide from a 3-axis aircraft. They can't go down as quick as them, in fairness, though. So this is real time. This isn't speeded up at all. Joe plummeting down there. There's no way I could follow him down at that speed or at that descent rate. He then came back up. That sun is blinding. There they are, sitting out there, as happy as Larry, in the fresh air. The ground temperature was, I think, about 3 degrees at this time, so it was probably about freezing level up at this height. The Neath estuary there, the River Neath emptying out. And then coming round, and we're looking there at Swansea docks in the background. It is a bit bizarre just with the speed difference. It almost looks as if Joe is either stationary or possibly even going backwards at times. Just if I slowed up. But he is doing about 70 miles an hour actually. Oh, we messed around a bit, trying to get different camera angles. This is what I looked like to Joe. And this is from my cockpit, looking at Joe on the other side. So we're heading inland a bit at this point, and up towards Pontardawe. Unusual there's a church with a steeple, which not many churches have in South Wales, tend to be square towers. And just zooming in there, trying to see Jim's house, another pilot from the airfield, and looking further up the valley. And up there, at that place, which I'm not even going to attempt to say, up there is Phil Margerson's house, who actually did the covering on my previous Shadow, covered the wings for me, and did an absolute excellent job. I mean, he had practice. He built his own Shadow, or refurbished his own Shadow to an absolutely high standard. So I'd got a bit ahead of them here, so I decided just to do a quick orbit, just so I'd be behind them again and catch them up. Around I go, pointing down towards the coast, pointing round, coming round. There's Pontardawe again on the nose now. Round we come. You can see how good the visibility was today. Now we're pointing towards the Black Mountain, not to be confused with the Black Mountains, which are by Hay-on-Wye. Past the village, which I'm not going to say again. And we were heading for Pen y Fan, which is more or less coming onto the nose now. So it gave me a chance to catch up with Joe and Gary again. Now I'd been in the air about an hour at this point. I've got no heater in the aircraft, and I was starting to feel cold, but I wasn't sitting out in the wind like those two. And it was about this point that the battery on the camera died. It had been running solidly for an hour, so I made my excuses and said I was heading home. Because of hypothermia, but so I'll just show you on the map here. This was where we'd gone, and we were right at the top there, and I headed down. Heading back down towards the coast. A bit blinding with the sun in the eyes. Almost back there. Turning left base for runway 36 at Old Park Farm, leaving the beach. And now turning finals for 36. See the windmill top left there, coming round. The pitch is at that odd angle because I had it a bit at an angle in the aircraft. So I've just straightened it up. So here comes the airfields on the nose now. So I won't give you the whole approach. Just lined up. Wind slightly from the left. Holding it off, trying to make it as soft as possible. There we are. And this is the perspective from Joe's aircraft. You can see that he's coming down at a much steeper angle. Coming down like a brick is something that 3-axis is very good at doing. You see his shadow in the ahead of him there. Really tell this is just about midday, and you tell we're really heading north there with the sun behind us. Great landing.
You must be frozen.
It wasn't too bad.
I was getting cold.
We got to Pen y Fan, didn't we?
Yeah, Gary jumped out.
But the fingers are just going and my feet, that's all.
He's like, right, I think about enough now.
Oh, I don't blame you.
Lovely, man.
Oh, it's gorgeous up there, fair play.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Absolutely
He's gonna
brilliant.
have a cup, buzzer.
Sounds like a good speech.
Sounds like a plan. Your aircraft looks great from the air.
Yeah.
This is Martin Neve landing in Whiskey Alpha C42, and everybody's doing really good landings this day. And then the vintage pair are heading off towards Shobden, Tiger Moth and Alan in the Aronka. Sound of a real aircraft. You think Alan's only got 65 horsepower, and it's quite a heavier plane. I've got 80 horsepower in mine. But there we go. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end.